Have you ever wondered why, when you're following God with all your heart, things still seem to be unfair? How, when you're doing everything right, your world still seems to be falling apart? Joseph knew that feeling. Joseph didn't realize it, but God was preparing him for something greater. Today we will see how God can still be working in seasons that don't make sense. Today on Refining Grace, where we study the Word of God to be refined, strengthened, and full of God's grace. After being sold to the Ishmaelites, they took him to Egypt, where he was sold to Potiphar's house. Joseph went from being a protected and provided for child by his father to now being a slave. He was in a foreign country. They spoke a foreign language that he probably didn't understand. The food that he ate was different than what he was used to. He had lost his home, his family, and his freedom. But he did not lose his God. All this time, he kept hold of his God. Even though his whole life changed in an instant, Joseph remained faithful to God. Joseph could have easily felt sorry for himself. He could have said, "What did I do? Why me?" He could have blamed God for all the evil done to him, but he didn't. Our perspective will have an impact on our outcome. If Joseph had felt sorry for himself, he would not have been in a place to be used by God. He would not have been in a place to have the favor of God. Joseph knew that no matter what the circumstances looked like, God's presence remained. God's favor remains if we remain in him. Joseph remained faithful to his God. It says that even Potiphar noticed the favor of God on Joseph's life. Joseph worked his way up the ranks at Potiphar's house. Soon he was in charge of running Potiphar's whole household. And Potiphar was not just any Egyptian. God chose this place. Potiphar was the captain of the guard. He was one of the most powerful people in Egypt. It was not by accident that Joseph came to Potiphar's house. It was by design, God's design. God had planned each step in Joseph's journey, and God has planned each step in your journey. I'm sure Joseph did not realize the education that he was receiving there. He was learning how to be a leader. He was learning how the leadership in Egypt worked. He probably sat in on many important meetings. He found out how the politics ran in Egypt while serving in Potiphar's house. He was learning all the protocols. He was learning all the positions. He probably met many powerful people. This education was priceless. But again, hell tried to stop him. Potiphar's wife made a false accusation against him. Joseph had done nothing but resist the temptation. There are times when we cause our own trouble, but there are also times when hell wants to stop us, when hell wants to stop the favor of God in our lives. Because of this accusation, Joseph ended up in prison. He did nothing, but now he was in prison. The favor of God does not mean that we will have an easy life. We will be attacked. We will be tempted. One thing we can learn from Joseph's temptation is that he did not stay and try to manage the temptation. He ran from the temptation. If he had stayed and tried to handle the situation, he could have fallen prey to the temptation. Joseph was accused of wrong, but he knew the truth. Most importantly, God knew the truth. Joseph did what was right, but he still lost his position. He still ended up in prison. Doing what is right does not always produce immediate rewards. but God honored his faithfulness. Joseph lost his coat, his freedom, and now his reputation. But he never lost God's presence. God was building Joseph's character. He was building Joseph's knowledge. He was making Joseph the man he needed to be. Are you in a season that seems unfair? Have you remained faithful even when no one noticed? God just may be using your current circumstances to prepare you for your calling. Joseph thought he was losing everything, but God was building something bigger than he could ever imagine. The pit, slavery, prison were not obstacles. They were stepping stones. And God has stepping stones in your life. Just keep walking. Join me next time for part 3 as we discover how Joseph continues to be faithful. May God bless you and keep you. May he make his face to shine upon you and give you peace.